Hello everyone, I'm Moz, and this is Speak Your Split, where I interview players vying to win AEL's Summer 2025 split. Today I'm joined by someone who has 7 chips to his name, 4 MVPs, and has been playing competitively for the last 4 years, best known as ELY Luna's mid laner and owner, Naysayer. How's it
Yo,
going?
thanks for having me.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. I've heard a lot about you from Proton, and I think it was just
Is that a good thing? I
yeah,
don't
I
know.
think so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, okay.
I think so. So I think it was just a matter of time before I got you on here. I mean, especially with how your team is doing currently, 4-0, it's kind of it was definitely inevitable, I think. But yeah, you're doing good today?
Yeah, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good myself. You ready to speak some split?
I'm ready, bro.
Perfect. So actually, before I do go into the questions, I do want to glaze you just a little bit more here. Um,
Oh, brother.
Currently,
Okay.
you're ranked 11th in the player stats. Your team has a 4-0 match record. You're currently plat 2, but rank isn't always indicative of skill level. And you've also
Yeah.
played 7 unique champions out of 8 games. Those being Cassio, Syndra, Galio, Victor, Set, Talia, Mel, putting up quite a champ pool there.
I think for me personally, I always try to. I think my whole like what makes me a good player, if people label me that, is I will pick champions that just like enable my teammates to perform to the best of their ability. So like the Mel has a lot of zone control, and Galio and Cassio, like I'm able to peel, but I'm also able to do a lot of damage if I get fed. So that's kind of like my thing.
So just a big team player, kind of an all-arounder mid laner.
Yeah,
All right,
for the
yeah,
most part.
no issue with that. I mean, always very strong players who tend to play for teams and also have that ability to turn on their own carry mode, right? So absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, so the first thing I want to discuss today is I do want to talk about tier lists, specifically Zedds and Winter's latest tier list. So we're gonna start with Zed. So currently he has you ranked third in mids, and
Mhm.
he has your team ranked second in the standings. Do you agree with that, or what are your thoughts on it, really?
I would say I disagree with his list, but also I can get behind it because like he just put himself at number one and his team. So like if you're gonna have confidence in your team, then like you should put them at one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it. Yeah.
Um, but I definitely don't think they are the number one team. Uh, and I don't know where I would put Zed personally. I think I told you speaking to this prior. Somehow in the 4 years of me playing, I haven't actually played against him yet. I would say he's like in the top five though, just based on like how he's performing this split though.
Yeah, you had
Um,
briefly mentioned that to me. Um, just from, I mean, my one split that I played with him, I could see him being. I mean, I think he's consistently top 5.
mhm.
I don't know if I've played against you. I don't think I have.
I
Um,
don't think so either.
but I'm like 90% sure. If I haven't played against you, I've heard about you through Proton and maybe Zed as well, about you being pretty solid as a mid laner. And I mean, your performance thus far in the split seemed to kind of be showing that as well. Yeah. So just going straight into the Winter's
Oh,
tier list.
we did play in a scrim May 20th. I keep everything documented.
Oh,
Our
did
scrims.
did we win?
It looks like we went 2-1. And then game three, you played Ash and dropped an absolute nuke on us, is what it looks like.
Actually, I think I remember
Yes.
that game.
This is I can DM it to you too. So this is
Actually,
the game you
please.
won.
Yeah.
This was game one. We won't talk about that for the sake of
Ooh.
yeah, we'll skip that one. And that was game two.
Damn, I dropped a fucking stinker on you guys. What the fuck? Okay, we gotta talk
Game the
about
game yeah, the game one was really bad all around, it looks like. I don't I don't really even remember this series, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, man.
So
I remember the game too with the Victor because I remember I was really tilted. I was like, we can't get a fucking single kill back. That
yeah,
was wow. Memories. Holy shit. That's crazy,
but yeah, I
actually.
think that's the only time we've played against each other was this scrim.
Well, from what I remember, you were pretty fucking solid then, so
Oh, I actually remember this. So you picked uh Ash, and then my bot lane picked what they did because they were like, "Oh, like we can easily smash this thing." And after the game, they were like, "We can never pick this again into Ash Braum." Uh,
I
yeah,
wasn't gonna say anything about it, but
teaching lessons for sure in the scrim.
yeah, I remember not enjoying Chaser's Lucian that much. But it's a learning experience, as most scrims
It's
are.
all good.
So,
It's all good. It's in the lab. It'll be ready for playoffs. Don't worry. Don't worry.
so on the topic of Winter's tier list,
Yeah.
he has placed you in the, I think it was S plus tier. No, he has your team in S plus. He has you in S plus in S, but ranked first in the mid laner. Do you think you're that good? Like,
Yeah, I would put me at one. I think I'm having a really good split in Aegis.
hard
I'm just
to.
looking at this like
Yeah.
Crash is really good too. Crash is really good. He plays on Oversoul. I have him listed in my personal tier list
Yes, and I
pretty
will.
high.
I think I'll pull those up right
Um,
now, just for everyone to see your mid laner player tier lists.
yeah,
Um,
I think
there.
I would agree with Winters. I mean, there's some mids that I think are way too high, but you're gonna get that with everyone's tier list or whatever.
Okay. I'm kind of curious. Who do you think is, I
Oh
guess,
man.
undeserving there?
Yeah. So I think like unknown leg, I would say is better, or at least having a better split than like MBK, probably than Zed. Like they've played a lot of the harder mids. Unknown has, I'm pretty sure. I think Sean or Epi is way too low. I think Canella's too high based on how their team's playing. Badger's probably too high. I just played Tilted Towers, and that guy was the most cracked mid laner I've ever played in my life. So maybe he's actually just above me. I was not prepared. I did not know his game, but I do now, I guess. And then like, sorry to anyone in C tier or B tier. Like, I do not know you. Well, I know
Yeah,
Sinja, I guess, but I know his team's like perma losing in Aegis right now. So like, B probably makes sense. But yeah, like Honeydew, Festus, Zumi, Gogo, Thorn, like CEO. Like, I genuinely don't know them. I've never heard of them.
yeah. I
So.
think Aegis this split has a lot of really new names, which is
Mhm.
something I have. I mean, it's part of the reason I don't really touch tier lists myself is because I don't really know Girl Twing CEO and I don't know
Right.
Zumi or Thorn or any of those players. So I don't want to put them in a tier list and absolutely dog shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just judging from it, I do kind of think there are some players who can move up and down for sure. I
Mhm.
think my just general area of expertise is bot lane. I mean, Deli is he's insane. Chaser's really good. Proton being that high is really unfortunate for me, but I mean, I think he's actually got some pretty decent foundations there.
Right.
Slayer, I think, could be a bit higher. I think Solo Mason is maybe top of B.
I think Mystic being at B tier is really criminal too. He plays on Oversoul as well. That guy had like a crazy. We 2-0'd them, but his performance was like insane. I don't even think he died game one. He had the most farm in the game too. Um, I thought he was really really solid. The Mystic guy. Just
Yeah,
looking at the list.
glad to see my boy Rudy though, kind of killing it there. Just under EXE there. But
Hmm.
yeah, I do kind of get what you mean. So you kind of mentioned earlier that you feel like you're having a personal really good split. Do you think you're like at the top of your form right now, or do you think you have some more to show as we get deeper into the split here?
Um, I'm hoping we're not like I always I will like if I VOD review my own games, I'll tear myself apart. I've always been like that, my biggest critic or whatever. So hopefully there's more stuff to show. I would say over the last like year, we play in a lot of Chase and I have been teammates for like 3.5 years at this point. And he was getting like close to ranking out, and he already has, but he's been improving a lot, and we've all been like kind of grinding. We play in a lot of Titans and stuff, and I would say I'm like pretty close to, I think, how I need to function for our team to like win games consistently for Luna. And I hopefully again like we'll have a good showing in playoffs. So there's always stuff to improve on. Obviously, we're playing in a D4 cap league. There's always stuff we do wrong, but I think on a good day, I'm doing a lot of things correctly to enable the guys to pop off and win games. So
Yeah, for sure. What just trying to get like a bit deeper into that. What do
sure.
you think you're struggling with like right now? Is it like tempo on the map? Is it maybe just laning wise? Is it like after lane? What do you think is like the most problematic part, I guess, of you right now?
Sure. I would say for me, it would be the early game. Like me personally, I think like there's sometimes where I'm playing stuff like set, like you mentioned, or um in Titans, like Galio or Cassio or Silas, whatever. So like there's sometimes where like I'm ready to fight because that's just what my champion does. But like Chaser's playing Smolder, and we can't just take a random skirmish and play it poorly and like expect to just outhand people if we're playing like not a great skirmishing comp. So I think slowing it down early is something I've really struggled with and I've done a lot better on. And then like as a team, I would say it's crazy because like I don't know how much you follow other leagues. Like there'll be times. So we're 3-2 in Titan right now, Titan Eternal.
Okay.
And dude, I'm not even joking. Like we lost a really close series to one of the Espada team, syndicate team. It was a really close series. It was 2-1. But like in game 1 and 3 of that series, I just remember rewatching it and I was like, dude, it looks like we're completely different players on Thursdays. Like our team fighting is sometimes so bad it's unreal. And then we'll watch it back as a team, and like X will be like calling a target, one person's hitting another, I'm CCing a different one. It's like, dude, what are we doing? And then like we'll show up on Thursday and it's like
Everything's fixed.
yeah, everything's fixed. We didn't, never missed a beat. We're just team fighting flawlessly. It's like, why can't we do this both days, guys? Like this is getting ridiculous a bit, but
Is Titan
yeah,
just the LCK regular season and you guys are just T1
yeah,
and
that's it. That's it.
coming into Aegis's worlds and it's suddenly like, holy fuck, they're gonna do it again.
We have the training weights on Monday, so we can fly on Thursday, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Just to take more of a broad approach, what is, just speaking strictly in Aegis, what
Mhm.
is Luna doing so properly right now? Because you guys have only dropped a single map. You guys are 8-1 in game record, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So obviously you guys are doing something to, you're doing something right. And what do you think that is? I mean, just coming from a mid lane perspective, right? You basically have access to both side lanes, and you work with your jungler pretty frequently. So, is it like
Right.
a macro thing? Are you guys hands diffing people? Like it just doesn't matter, or what's been the key to success
Um,
there?
I think a lot of it is macro. I think what we do better than most teams, even in the games that we've lost in Titan or the matches that we've dropped in Titan, like I think how we do wave priority and like I'll say like I mean it's like a meme around the community, like the fundamentals guy is, but like we really do like a good checklist of like, yo, dragons in 2 minutes, like this needs to be done before we go to dragon, and we do a really good job as a team of like doing that. And like at first it was like a bit different because X came from another team, Queen 6 came from another team. I think Storm was a mid laner on a the new Origins, I think is the org. But so like once we got like, okay, this is like how we're gonna play, and then we just kind of just kept drilling it or whatever. It like really started to click about I would say like 2-3 weeks into us becoming a team. So yeah, just like the waves need to be pushed. If we're walking in, we need to do it this way, and everyone does like their job in that checklist, and everyone does a very good job of communicating like, okay, this step's done, now we move on to this. I don't know if you've ever tuned into our Like X streams a lot, so it'll be me and him gapping a lot, and then everyone's just like giving good information to what was said, basically. Just to like finalize that too. Is I watch a lot of other teams play and stuff, so like I think another thing that we do a really good job on is like if I make a call and it's like a really chaotic moment in the game, all of Luna, all of my players will just do that call. And even if we lose or it's a bad call, like whatever, like we'll all just commit to that one call. Where I think a lot of people in the like the crazy chaotic like split second decisions, you know, like are we turning, are we finishing, are we, you know, for smiting or whatever, like there's a lot of people, you'll see teams like two will be doing one thing, two will be doing another, and the one person's just going back and forth. He doesn't know which side to help. And I think that's another thing that like sets like top teams apart from other teams. Just like we're all going for the turn or we're all going for the smite, and if it doesn't work, then sure we'll like VOD it later and we can talk about it. But in that moment, we will never do two separate things.
I think honestly, just speaking from my experience, I agree. I think winning as a team and losing as a team are like the most important things you like are it's just a fundamental thing. Because having players on two different like wavelengths, it's a key for disaster like every single time. So being on the same wavelength and making the same play together, even if it's the wrong play, is I think the best decision as a team.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I agree with that. So it's just kind of like a fundamentals difference there.
Yeah, it really is. It sounds like not even a cop out answer, but it's like it's really just like, oh, we don't have vision here. Okay, we're never gonna go for this play because like our vision sucks. So we move on. Like we failed the checklist. Okay, move on, try again. And then I think we do a really good job of that. So
yeah, I mean that's all it takes. It doesn't have to just be a hands thing. It's there are so many different ways to be better than someone. And I mean, for me, I very much value that macro and fundamentals approach more than trying to just brute force a win by outhandsing someone, right? So
yeah,
I think that makes you guys definitely a force to be reckoned with, without a doubt.
and I think it's like I told you too. Like once you like on the very good teams, I'm talking like the teams that are gonna make like semis and finals, unless something crazy happens, right? Like your XGs, your syndicates, like IOTA is a really good team. They're kind of in a slump right now. Like all of these teams, all of the players are like good, right? And all of those teams know how to enable their players. And it's like I was kind of telling you, like once you get on like the top level of Emerald teams or whatever, like bro, it like all of those players are good, and you're never going to just simply outhands them unless like something really dumb happened, like they're just trolling a matchup or like tilted or something. So like I think macro will win you like 90% of your games versus the top teams most of the time. When like everyone is just like a solid player in their role and stuff. So we really drive home macro. Macro, macro, macro.
It's great, yeah. I do want to rewind back to like the beginning of the split, like just before it. You know, most people rated your team actually quite low. I think from the very beginning, you know, not to be that guy, but I think I was the only one at the very start who was like, this Elysium roster looks fucking insane, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
like at the start, Zed, he put you guys in the B. Sorry, Zed said you guys weren't going to make it past round 12. Zol put you guys in B tier, and Espada said you guys were done in quarters. So far, I mean, you know, we haven't gone quite into playoffs, but how does it feel to kind of have just exceeded these expectations and gone above?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's never it's not too late. Like we still could get first rounded, I
That's
suppose.
true.
But
Yeah.
I I think I mean I don't know. I thought on paper, like maybe if you look at like my solo queue, you're like, okay, like Naysayer is maybe like the worst mid here. Like that's totally valid or whatever. But like I don't even know if Storm's like a known player. I don't know how long he's been playing or anything, and I know he swaps roles. Queen Sticks, like I don't know. I think there's just like people that give her a bad rep but she's like been a great teammate, and I've had no problems with her, and she's popping off. So I don't know, like you could like rate me or Storm low, and I guess like that's where our team ranking could take a hit. But I feel like if you look at like our bot lane, like there's no way you think our bot lane isn't going to be a top bot lane in AEL. And then like Queen Six has been around, I've been around. I feel like I don't know, like I guess first week too, like I don't even know how to word it. Like a lot of people just like to like, you know, like the
Throw
Syndicate
shit
guys
around.
rated the yeah, well, it's like Syndicate rated the Syndicate players really highly. Like Zol's obviously gonna rate his Dorado rosters highly. Like you really do have to take it with a grain of salt. And then after like the first week or two, when people are still doing it, you're like, all right, like maybe you're just delusional or something. Um, yeah, I'm never too concerned about rankings. And then yeah, like we just as long as we play like we are now for playoffs, like you know, I do think like if Luna's your first game in the best of 5 in the round 12 or whatever,
I
if we get a
think
bye, who knows? Like I think that's a pretty scary team to draw. So
for me, I mean, when I first came in, right, like my first split was only fall of last year in AEL. And
okay.
I was, no one knew me, but I was like, I have to make a name for myself, right? And I think I did a pretty decent job, minus the quarterfinals fallout.
Sure.
um, but that was not my fault. That was Proton Plat player
Exactly.
going
Yeah.
lethality Jarvan. So not
I
even
didn't
my
know I didn't know he was on your team, but it makes sense.
yeah
That's totally valid.
yeah.
Um yeah, I mean I didn't I mean like I knew about you like you were good and I didn't even play in Aegis when you did, I'm pretty sure. So you definitely were popping off.
I do. I put out my own tier list. This is kind of just for shits and giggles that I wanted to bring this up.
Hmm.
I had did a name tier list. Obviously, I didn't do everyone because that's kind of I mean that's a lot of fucking players.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
so but I put your name in Aura because I think your name actually goes kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I do want to know where did you get your name from? Like, has it just been a staple for you
Oh.
forever, or what's the story
So
there?
I'm really big into metal, like heavy metal music.
Okay.
Um so I don't know how old you are. Do you know like, the game Warcraft 3?
I don't. I'm 22. I don't.
Oh my God, you're a baby. I'm so old. I'm not gonna age like, you know. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, there's a game. My name was really stupid because I was like 10 when I made this name. And then it transferred over to League. And then I name changed to be funny because like I'm 16 years old and stupid. It was like ganked by mum or something with a bunch of characters and accents. It was really stupid. Well, I played League and then I left for a bit and I took a pretty decent break. And when I got back, there was a player called GBM, a pro player who was like, it was ganked by mom. That's literally what it was. And
Oh,
I was like, oh, what the heck? Like, I can't be ganked by mom or whatever. Like, that's stupid. I didn't even know who he was. I didn't want to be a fanboy. So there's a band called Architects. They're like a metal band. They have a song called Naysayer, and I was like perma listening to Architects when I came back to League. And so yeah, I've been Naysayer since like 2013, 2014. Whenever
wow.
the band released the song.
Damn, bro. Rockin' Aura since that fucking that year. Holy shit.
I can't even take credit. It is such a 1v9 name too. That's like because yeah, I'm really big into pro play. And I was like, okay, like if a caster were to say my name if I was a pro player, like Naysayer goes so
Dude,
stupid.
that sound no, but like literally that's the criteria I use. Like your name, it's just completely it's Aura, it's 1v9, like I just it's crazy. Do you have, other than Gank My Mom, do you have like any old IGNs that like maybe are a little embarrassing?
Man, I probably have really stupid one. I can't. Nothing's like coming to mind. I used to play a lot of MMOs, so I never had like my like
One.
characters would have names, but I never
Okay.
had like a yeah. Um, yeah, Gank by Mom is like oh, when I was playing Warcraft, I had a name called Ponezaholic. That was pretty cringe.
Oh.
I remember that one. Dude, again, I was like 10,
Yeah.
11. Um, Yeah, I mean, I've name changed for like the past 2 years. I've had some pretty Elysium, like you mentioned, I own Elysium, and some of the guys that help me run it are like, dude, like, why did you name change to this? So if you know, you know. But yeah,
um, you know,
Moz is a good name too, though. By the way, like
thank
I'll hype
you.
you up too. Like that's another name where it's just like it's just easy to say, and it's just like
It flows.
it's
It
just
just
there.
flows
It's not like
easy.
Donald Duck 3260 or something. Yeah, it's just
That's like my
it's a nice
biggest
name.
fucking issue with some names is like, yeah, man, like I can't wait to say silly goofy SCP just got a fucking pentakill, bro. Like
Yeah, bro. Like,
I'm not it's not it doesn't flow. Some of the old users I had though, these are fucking negative aura. So my very first one was Sir Popalot. That's from
okay,
my
yeah,
PlayStation 3 era, bro. That shit carried a
hell yeah.
long time. And then I think I went from that to Benji Butt. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Benji. So that was my thing. And then I did. I think I did Puppy Boy ADC for a bit. I rocked that one kind of for
Oh my
a
god.
season or something. When I think I actually did it when Zeri came out. Because I was nonstop playing that champion in solo queue.
Yeah.
Um, and then I did T1 ruler because uh,
Okay.
I'm a ruler guy. And then
Is that
I
your favorite pro player?
yes, absolutely, I love ruler.
Okay. How long have you been watching pro or playing League?
I have been playing League since like mid 2017.
Oh,
So
okay. So
just as he won Worlds, that immediately was like, this guy's my goat. And then
gotcha.
from that, I did Walkie's Enjoyer. Some of these are not like real names. Like I was kind of just a shitter for a bit. Um, and then I was Inu Sama. And then I think I finally just settled on Moz because I thought it sounded kind of cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of the history of my IGNs that I've
Ma
used on League.
Maz is definitely like way more 1v9 than any of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a good one.
Yeah, I think actually sorry, I actually did forget one. I had this name for the start of my AEL fall split. I was JDG Kenji, and there's an inside joke there with Rudy. So Rudy is my best bud. I've known him for I don't even know, like so fucking long by now. And him and I always used to do Clash together. Like that was our monthly thing. We do Clash. And the joke was is that when we were starting to prep for Clash, I would turn into Kenji, which is Korean Benji, and I would completely 1v9 um, like flex games and solo queue games and everything like that. And then I would go into Clash and win nothing because I have like a 7% win rate all time in Clash. So
You're the 80 version of Caps or Claps,
Uzi,
bro, or Craps.
I'm
Yeah.
Uzi, bro. I'm just so good, but I don't win anything. It's a
Uzi
tragedy
was
for
the
me.
goat, actually.
Wow. Okay. Those are damn. Your names were just way better than mine. But also, I was kind of a shitter for a couple months there.
I've had some pretty bad ones. I've had really bad ones. So
I do. The next question I have is actually about it's something Lag said. So Lag said he expects finals to be versus you guys, XG versus Luna. Do you share that sentiment, or do you think you'll be finding someone else there?
I think so. Again, I made you like a so for people listening, I
Yes.
made Moz like a who I would rank right now if it playoffs were tomorrow. So I put Stevenson Sharks above us because again I wasn't familiar with their game XD. But yeah, so like my actual top four are like Luna, XG, Oversoul, ID Blast Cone, and then I have like Syndicate Watermelon, and then Iota like below those. But I put like a caveat that like Iota when they're not slumping is probably a top 6 team. Um, I think if you look at those 16, like so like us, XG, Oversoul, Blast Cone, Syndicate, and Dorado, it wouldn't surprise me if any of those teams won this league. I think the top four I would have to do Luna XG, oh god, it's tough. What would I do? Luna XG, Watermelon, and Oversoul, which is like kind of funny, and I swear I'm not being too cringe and biased because like two of those are from my group, and I understand that, but I actually thought that they were like really good teams compared to like what we've been scrimming and like comparing it to Titan and stuff like that. I know XG lost to Oversoul, but I know they didn't have Spoobert, so I'd be curious to see how that series goes if they had their top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down for an XG finals. Like that would be cool. I mean, I'd like to play any of these teams in finals.
I am
that I
really
mentioned.
excited for actually this upcoming week, because you guys play
Mhm.
XG. I think if I'm gonna watch one match that week, it's probably gonna be your guys's. I just think I don't know, like I think Luna, XG, and Blastcone are. I feel like they're just a step above everyone else. Like I feel like all of those three, and then everyone else.
Sure.
Honestly,
I think
but
that's like fine too. I think that's like it's kind of like I said to you too in like the mid list, right? Like my top five. I don't know if you said you brought it up or whatever, but like I have Crash, I have Epi, I have Unknown Leg, I have MBK. Like again, I didn't put Zed because I've never played him or
mhm.
whatever. But in my like based off the AEL split, like Zed is in my top five. Like I feel like if your top five mids are like Naysayer, Unknown Leg, Zed, Crash, insert whatever in any order, like do the like, yeah, like that makes sense to me. Whereas like you said, like ID Blastcone, XG, us, pick another team out of like the top six, like it makes a lot of sense, I think. I like your list. I like your list
um,
of your top three.
so far you guys have played Watermelons, who
Mhm.
were 8th in Zed's rankings, Oversoul 10th in Zed's rankings, Cape Dogs 15th, and Stevenson Sharks. In that order, have these games been like competitive? Have they been, or have they just been like out macro? Like these teams have not had a chance to play the game if you guys are playing.
So Cape Dogs wasn't close, like no offense to those guys or whatever. Stevenson was the hardest series that we've played. And I mean, I'm not gonna get into that because I have nothing good to say, so I won't say anything. Yeah, I'll just say if you know, you know. You've seen me typing in AEL about it. The Syndicate game, I don't remember if game 1 was close. Game 2 was really close. We gave Trad Viego and he went crazy, and we just ended up winning a fight at the end. And then Oversoul was like kind of how I feel like. Well, it's kind of like we were talking about, like our macro. I do believe our macro is just like
Top
very
tier.
good.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so like with the Oversoul series, like the games were close until they weren't, and then once we got a lead, we just bled them to death, which I feel like happens again in a lot of these semifinals and finals matches, where it's just like a team gets a lead, they're a really good team, and they just out macro the lead, and there's not much you can do if your comps are even. And that's kind of how. So Oversoul kind of really plays the same style as we do, is like just like a calculated front to back stand your ground. And I think we just played it better than them. So like, yeah, we did 2-0 all these teams except for Stevenson's, but yeah, game 2 Watermelon's really close. Oversoul felt like a chess match the whole series. So I think like Zed's like Oversoul being 10th, I think is
Bogus.
I would, yeah, I think that's really bad. Let me look.
You
I
put
put them
Oversoul at 4th.
I put them at 4th. Yeah. So and then Watermelon's 5th. So yeah, like I think our group was really strong. I do think, and I did kind of look at the other groups when I was making this list too, because so like the No Kittens roster is undefeated, but then like I looked at who they played and I was like, I think they only played, was it Summit or Blastcone? They beat Summit or Blastcone, and I was like, that was like really the only. Oh, and Monkeys Mania, but like I have them rated at the bottom of my playoff teams, so I understand they're 3-0 or whatever, but I'm like, would No Kittens beat Oversoul, XG, Blastcone? Like I don't think so. It's kind of how I did it. Yeah, the games are like yeah, we got leads, bled them to death, and that's kind of how we play.
Just a
So
slow kind of choke out of those games. So Cape Dogs, you'd say, is the easiest, and Stevenson Sharks was probably your hardest game.
yeah, like they beat us. So we they asked us to reschedule, and then they were late by like 15 minutes. So we forced an FF game 1, and then game 2 they absolutely slaughtered us. Like we have not been beat like that in Titan or Aegis. And then game 3 they're like typing in all chat, dancing in front of our base
Oh my
with a
god.
10k gold lead, and then they just like started trolling, and then we ended up winning a base race. So Like game 3 ending was really hype, but if they actually just
Locked
weren't
in.
trolling,
Yeah.
we don't win that series at all, which is why I'm like, I have them at the top of everything, because again, like you can see, if you want the tea, go read the general chat of Vegas. That's all I will say about that. But I'd bump them up for sure, like Oversoul and even Watermelon. I feel like Watermelon, a syndicate team in 8th is like crazy. Where's his other? Sorry, I forgot he
Both
made a team
both double pumpers and watermelons. So I somewhat agree, but I think it's hard to make a very strong case because harrowing looks really fucking strong. Like I think harrowing is probably the most stacked group here. You have Oversoul
yeah,
and you have XG. Stevenson Sharks is doing pretty good, but then also just by namesake, you have two syndicate teams.
right.
So on paper, this looks really stacked. So I think it's really hard to make a case for them when it's been like, if they can't take down the top teams in this group, why would they have a chance
Right.
against, potentially IDB or No Kitten or
Right.
whoever else is a top team at the time?
And I guess too, I'm looking at like, so the one thing, I guess like the one thing from Zed's list to like answer your question, I guess to throw a little fuel to the fire too. I think like double pumpers at 4, they'd be like my like 10 or 11 for sure. I think like, so they lost to Stevenson's, and then they're like, Cape Dog somehow took a game off them. Like no, no flame to Cape Dogs. I don't know how that's. Oh, they also took a game off the other syndicate team. Nah, we're just trolling, actually. It has to be, it's not real. Yeah, I don't know. Zed's tier list sucks for Team Power Rankings. I'll leave it at that, I guess. It's fine. No big deal.
That is a fraud.
Yeah, Zed's a fraud. Shout out to my guy, though, but absolutely a fraud. Holy moly. A Team Power Rankings fraud. Yeah.
So like I said, going into next week, you guys take on XG. What do you expect that how that game to play out? Because
Mm-hmm.
Lag had told me at the start of the split, he scrimmed you guys, and he said you guys spanked them basically.
Yeah.
And it was just a fucking one-sided like
Mm-hmm.
scrim, and it was eye-opening for him. He said.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think you guys still have what it takes, or like what do you expect to who do you expect to come out on top next week?
Yeah, so I'm just looking back because I don't want to like, so yeah, we did, I mean, scrim bucks. Who cares about scrim? So we did 3-0 them. I'm just looking at the match results or whatever. Oh, I mean, I'll DM. This is game 1, and the others
All
look
right.
fairly
I will be putting
fairly
these up on
similar.
stream.
This is game 1. Yeah, I mean, we will never like, dude. I don't care if I've beaten you in a scrim, like, especially if it's playoffs. But like, we want to be as dominant as possible. So like, we're never gonna go into this series. I can speak for all 5 of us because all of them are like that. Like, we're never gonna go into a series like, oh, we beat XG3 on a scrim. Like, we're just going to 2-0 them. Like, that's never the case. And they're a really good team, and I think his name's Zach, right?
Yeah.
I think he's a really good mid. So even the games that we were winning in the scrim, like he kind of talked about it on your last episode, where like his definition of like what makes a good mid is like different than like most people's, and I thought he had a really good sense of like when to roam or when to be at a play. And he would also just like another thing that people refuse to do, and I'm sure you've seen this as well. Coming from the AD carry role, you've probably seen it double because you have another person in your lane. But like Zach will drop 3 CS to go win a team fight, and it's like, yeah, he lost 90 gold, but his team just wins the game, so it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. And there's like so many players that are like, oh my god, I have to get this cannon like I can't move, and it's like, is a cannon worth Rift Herald and 4 kills? Like, no. Like,
Is it worth being 5k down?
right. Just like go to the play and like win. Like, yeah, it like might suck. And I think he did a really good job of that. And even like when he was losing, I think we did like a Mel versus Ari lane, and I was Mel. When Mel gets ahead in that matchup, it's like borderline unplayable, and he was still trying to like trade and find windows. Whereas like I think a lot of people, like once they get behind, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna farm and pray like this guy messes up, which versus good teams is never gonna happen, and you have to find windows, and he at least tried. So I do have a lot of respect for him as like a mid laner, for sure.
Fair, yeah. As good as you think lag is, you've sung your own praises about yourself. Do you think it's gonna be an even matchup in mid lane, or do you think you're gonna be fathering him?
Oh baby, what do I want to do here? My whole team will be smiling ear to ear. Yeah, I'm gonna absolutely spank this guy. 2 straight games in a row won't be close. For mid, he'll need McFeeds multiple times, and yeah, that's my prediction.
Fast 2-0 with mid laner being fathered. All
Yeah,
right, I love to hear it.
Cocoa Puffs will also come mid, and I'll 3v1 them and kill one of them in one gank. I promise. Tune into X's stream. This will happen.
Strong words. Now you have to show up.
I'm gonna run it.
I need
Now,
to see it.
like, hey man, yeah. Every time I do this, I run it down. Like, it's so cooked for me now. It's okay. It's whatever. If we lose, like, dude, just blame this podcast and we just rematch in playoffs. It's fine.
True. I said earlier that you guys have played, not you guys, you have played 7 unique champions in 8 games. You have even showed off the capacity to play non-meta mid laners in set, more than once, might I add. Has Fearless been fun? And should we expect some maybe funky, fun champs as we get closer and closer to playoffs here?
Yeah, I'm a lunatic. When we do draft too, like, sometimes my team doesn't even know what I'm picking. So, I like so Singed is my pitcher or my champion that I picked. Like, I will play it mid into matchups. I like Singed a lot. Yeah, I love Fearless. I think every league should be Fearless. I understand that, like, there's a few leagues that are like, how do I want to say this, for like maybe people newer to comp, and like, I guess if you're newer to comp, Fearless,
Kind of daunting.
maybe it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I've always kind of done this too with recruitment too. Like, because you'll have like guy with 300 ranked games and 286 of them are Echo, and it's like, well, when Echo is banned literally every game against you, like, what are you going to play? And it's like, I feel like if you want to be a comp player, you should at least be good on like 5 champs in your role. So I love Fearless. I just wish every league would do it. And I think it's been really good for pro play as well.
Agree. Are you able to give us maybe a hint at a fun champ perhaps we should maybe expect to see in the near future?
Can I give you a hint?
If not, that's
Oh
okay because
boy.
I get that not a lot of people like to give up some leads, or rather some surprises they can
Sure.
give to other people. But if you can, super appreciated. Makes for a pretty
Yeah, no,
fun time.
I'll do it. It's been getting banned too, so it's like whatever. So like, there's probably a really good chance that you'll see me play Yasuo or Singed mid in one of these matches. I love me some Yasuo, but
Are you
yeah.
a 0-10 spiker?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
I'll show you against Zach next week if we go up game 1. I'll slam Yasuo game 2.
Holy fuck!
So.
Yes. And then I mean, this brings me to the end. My final question for you is: do you have any strong words for Zach next week?
Yeah, just like bring your boys. It's gonna be a long Thursday night. I hope you have a decent day because it's only gonna get worse. I think that's it.
Good luck is what I'm hearing. Thank you so much, Naysayer, for giving me your time today. It was really fun to talk with you and kind of hear some of the behind the scenes and some of your old usernames and whatnot.
Yeah.
Truly, it has been extremely fun to hear you speak your split today. And good luck going into the next weeks and into playoffs. I am really rooting for your guys' squad. Like I said, I've been a supporter since day one.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see you
A
guys do
Luna
well.
Prophet, bro. We appreciate you for sure. I also want to say too, like thank you for doing this, and also like shout out to Winter for doing his stuff too. Like, I love amateur content, and you've been like really consistent with it, and I have a lot of respect for that.
Thank you so much. It's always good to have some praises sung about me, because I mean, it does take some time to do these, and they are extremely fun, and I do love hearing about what is kind of going on between other players and that behind the scenes and whatnot. But nonetheless, thank you everyone for listening. This has been Naysayer, and this has been Speak Your Split.
Can I make one last shout out?
Absolutely.
PPP, you're an absolute rat, bro.
Yo,
And your ego,
fuck you, Proton.
it knows no bounds, and it will be punished if we meet in playoffs.
Bro, please 3-0 him. I need to see it happen. Pull out lethality Jarvan mid, flash on him, and kill him, please. I need to see it happen.
No problem, bro. I got you.
But thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.